Continuing now with the Steve Gruber Show as we get back into gear following the great Thanksgiving holiday. With me is Pete Hoekstra, former U.S. ambassador to the Netherlands, spent 18 years in the House, was House Intelligence Committee chair during a portion of that time as well. Pete, a lot of pushback, as we have discussed recently, whether it's Italy, Argentina, the Netherlands, electing people that are very much right of center, rejecting the socialist, globalist, World Health Organization type mentality, right? We've seen this happen. But what I want to touch on now is the Chinese battery plants. You've been close on the front lines. Michigan, grassroots efforts to push out these Chinese factories that are attempted to be built here in the United States. Not just Michigan, but it's a good example. We've got three different developments. One is in Big Rapids, the Goshen plant, one in Marshall, the Blue Oval facility, and one just outside of Lansing called the Eagle Mega Site. Now, I had a gentleman that got a hold of me over the weekend and said, look, the difference between Goshen and Marshall and the Blue Oval operation is very significant, but let's start with the Goshen plant. Looks like you're making progress and putting your foot down saying, no, we don't want this Chinese Communist Party connected plant here in Big Rapids, Michigan. What can you tell me?
Yeah, well, on election day, the local voters spoke out, and they recalled all the council or the supervisors, trustees at the township level. They were voted out of office. They were recalled. A couple of days later, the new trustees have been put into place, and they've gotten right to work. I think they've passed a resolution rescinding the water permit for the Goshen plant, and they're exploring all of their options at the local level to carry out the will of the voters, which is we don't want Goshen. And this was not a small recall. They won with over 70% of the vote, these individuals. It was amazing. They beat the MEDC. They beat the Right Place. They beat the economic powerhouses in the state of Michigan who were telling the people of Big Rapids, we think your future looks like this. And they came back and said, you may think that, but we live here, and we don't want this.
Here's what I want to point out. This is a pattern, not just in Michigan, but around the country, where the government comes in. In this case, the state of Michigan came in and gave all sorts of incentives with non-disclosure agreements, behind the curtain, gave all sorts of deals to bring in this factory, this Goshen factory, which is directly tied to the Chinese Communist Party. And this is happening all over because more recently, the Democrats in Michigan, headed, of course, by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, have gone ahead and said, well, we don't want any local control when it comes into putting in windmills and solar panel fields. We just want to be able to do whatever we want. We don't care what the local ordinances are. We don't care about local control. We don't care about any of that. If a farmer wants to sell us 500 acres or 1,000 acres and turn it all into solar panels, it will be the state government that decides. So it is more tyranny from the government. They claim it's more freedom, but it's not. They want to ram in battery plants. They want to ram in solar panels. They want to ram in anything they want and have no local control. What happened to local control with the Democrats, Pete?
Well, no, it's gone. Okay. Like I said, in the Right Place, supposedly led by Republican conservative business people. All right. The state hangs out a bunch of money and says, hey, if you support this plant up in Big Rapids, there's some money in here for you to administer projects. $50 million worth. It's bribery, and it's the elites taking care of the elites. It's the elites taking money from the taxpayers, and then they sit in a room, and like you said, with non-disclosures, the elites, Republicans and Democrats, sit in this room, and they divvy up our taxpayer dollars to who they think are worthy, and they run roughshod over the locals. And like you said, the legislature, they passed this stuff. They passed this thing that says, hey, if consumers or DTE or whatever, if they think that we need a big solar farm up in Gaylord, we'll go to the state, and the people in Lansing will decide. Whether we're going to build it or not.
Is the big picture is this. In states that are controlled by Democrats, and in Michigan it's just barely controlled, 1-seat majorities in the House and Senate, they're ramming all this far-left stuff through. Don't care, no regard. In fact, in many cases, they don't even discuss anything with the Republicans. Like I say, one seat majority. If one seat went the other way in either house, it would be tied. And if 2 votes went either way, the Republicans would be in charge. And that's how close this is. I'm going to guess that come November of 24, that's going to change because people are fed up with this. The rejection of local control is remarkable to me. But it's not just happening in Michigan. It's happening all over this country. Any state that's blue is getting bluer, but the states that are red are getting redder. Ohio, Tennessee, Indiana, Texas. You know, you can look around because people that have gotten their freedom and gotten a good grip on their freedom again are rejecting all of this overreach by government. I'll give you the last word.
It's overreach, and it's the government using our money to, bribe folks, to enrich folks. They're using their legal steps and their legal power to run roughshod over us. And I think, I hope you're right. I hope in 2024 we see a massive shift in the other direction because,
we need it.
We need it. Absolutely.
Yeah, Pete Hoekstra.
Steve, great to be with you. Thank you.
Always appreciate you being here, my friend. And so we had a front row explanation of what happened in the Netherlands. All right, Pete Hoekstra, everybody. Here's a message now from the Wellness Company. Everyone knows the next medical crisis just around the corner, one that comes in the form of a pandemic or something much more mundane like an insect bite. You and your family need to be prepared, and that's where the Wellness Company comes in. You know, the Wellness Company. They have great doctors. Peter McCullough was just on here a few days ago. The Wellness Company, and it's doctors, medical professionals you can trust. And they have emergency kits that are the gold standard when it comes to keeping you safe and healthy. Be ready for anything. The emergency medical kit contains an assortment of life-saving medications, including ivermectin and Z-Pak. It provides a guidebook in the aid of the safe use of all of these medications. So no matter what you're facing, the Wellness Company's medical emergency kit is exactly what you need to have on hand to be prepared. Rest assured you have antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasitics, among other things, to keep you and your family safe, whatever happens. Find out more. Go to twc.health/Gruber. twc.health/Gruber and find out more. I'll be back.